They robbed banks and trains and stagecoaches. They were outlaw brothers whose names are now written into the colorful stories of the Old West. They were Frank and Jesse James. Let's get into it. Welcome along to another installment of On This Day, where we offer true stories that we hope you find interesting, informative, fun, and sometimes just simply shocking. Today's event occurred on this day, March 20th, 1868, when the James gang left the town of Russellville, Kentucky, reeling as the gang had just executed a brazen bank robbery, absconding with a staggering sum of $14,000. And don't forget to watch until the end, as there are a few fun facts for you. Anyway, back to the story. As the sun hung high in the sky, residents of Russellville were abruptly jolted from their daily routines by the thunderous sound of hooves and the chilling cries of masked bandits. Witnesses likened the scene to a Wild West showdown, with the infamous Jesse James at the helm, orchestrating the meticulously planned robbery with military precision. Brandishing firearms and issuing menacing threats, the gang swiftly overpowered bank employees and customers, ensuring minimal resistance as they plundered the vault of its contents. With a swift escape, the outlaws vanished into the horizon, leaving authorities scrambling to respond. The aftermath of the robbery left Russellville gripped by fear and uncertainty. The audacity of the Jesse James gang's actions reignited anxieties about lawlessness and security in the once tranquil town. In response, law enforcement agencies launched a massive manhunt, utilizing wanted posters and advanced investigative techniques in a relentless pursuit of justice. The hunt for the notorious outlaws and the recovery of the stolen funds became a top priority for authorities, who were determined to restore order and peace to Russellville. There were many such robberies staged by the James gang, but before we look further into the crimes, let's take a quick glimpse at the James brothers and the other misfits that made up the gang at one time or another. Born in rural Missouri, Jesse Woodson James arrived into a world fraught with turmoil and uncertainty. The year was 1847, and the United States was on the brink of civil war. It was against this backdrop of division and conflict that Jesse and his older brother, Frank James, came of age. The James brothers hailed from a family with deep roots in the South, and their sympathies lay firmly with the Confederacy. When war erupted between North and South, Frank enlisted in the Confederate Army, while Jesse, still a teenager, found himself swept up in the chaos of guerrilla warfare. But it was not just the crucible of war that forged the James brothers' destinies. In the aftermath of the Civil War, with the South in ruins and lawlessness rampant, Jesse and Frank turned to a life of crime, robbing banks, trains, and stagecoaches. The tale of Jesse and Frank James would be incomplete without delving into the colorful characters who formed their infamous gang. Among the most notorious members of the Jesse James gang was Cole Younger, a Confederate veteran and skilled marksman who had fought alongside Frank James during the Civil War. Younger's military experience and ruthless demeanor made him a formidable ally in the gang's criminal endeavors, earning him a place of prominence within their ranks. Another key figure in the gang was the enigmatic Robert Ford, whose name would become synonymous with betrayal and infamy. Other members of the Jesse James gang included the James brothers' cousins, the Younger brothers, Cole, Jim, and Bob, whose fierce loyalty and unwavering commitment to the cause made them invaluable allies in the gang's criminal exploits. Together, the Younger brothers formed a formidable trio, striking fear into the hearts of their adversaries with their ruthless efficiency and deadly accuracy. The gang held no fear of the authorities, or maybe it did towards the end, but at this time, it did not restrict the outlaws from their chosen life of crime. The Jesse James gang's criminal escapades were marked by a string of audacious and successful heists that captured the public's imagination and struck fear into the hearts of law-abiding citizens. From daring bank robberies to lightning-fast train holdups, the gang's exploits were the stuff of legend, earning them a reputation as the most feared outlaws of the Wild West. One of the gang's most infamous crimes occurred in the quiet town of Liberty, Missouri in 1866. In what would become known as the first daylight bank robbery in United States history, The James Younger Gang, led by Jesse and Frank James, stormed the Clay County Savings Association and made off with over $60,000 in cash and bonds. The brazenness of the robbery sent shockwaves throughout the region and marked the beginning of the gang's reign of terror. Another notable heist took place in Corydon, Iowa, in 1871, where the James Younger Gang executed a meticulously planned train robbery that netted them a haul of $15,000 in gold and currency. Using stolen horses to evade pursuit, the gang vanished into the Iowa wilderness, leaving law enforcement officials baffled and frustrated by their inability to apprehend the elusive outlaws. But perhaps the most audacious crime in the gang's history occurred in Northfield, Minnesota in 1876. Determined to strike a blow against northern bankers and capitalists, the James Younger Gang targeted the First National Bank of Northfield, hoping to secure a large sum of money to fund their ongoing criminal activities. However, the robbery quickly descended into chaos when townsfolk and armed citizens fought back, resulting in a fierce gun battle that left 2 gang members dead and several others wounded or captured. The failed robbery marked a turning point for the James Younger Gang, signaling the beginning of the end for their reign of terror. As the sun set on the era of outlawry in the American West, the Jesse James Gang found itself facing mounting pressure from law enforcement and dwindling support from the public. Years of audacious robberies and violent confrontations had taken their toll, and the once feared gang was beginning to unravel. The final chapter in the saga of the James brothers came on April 3, 1882, when Robert Ford, a former member of their gang turned informant, ambushed Jesse James in his own home, gunning him down in cold blood. The assassination of Jesse James sent shockwaves through the nation and marked the end of an era, as the most notorious outlaw of the Wild West met his untimely demise at the hands of a former ally. Frank James, now the last surviving member of the Jesse James Gang, surrendered to authorities shortly after his brother's death, bringing an end to his life on the run. He was tried and acquitted of his crimes, eventually settling into a quiet life as a farmer and living out his days in relative obscurity. The legacy of the Jesse James Gang lives on in the annals of American folklore, immortalized as symbols of rebellion and defiance against the forces of law and order. Their exploits continue to captivate the imaginations of people around the world, reminding us of a bygone era when the frontier was wild and anything seemed possible. Before we end today's episode, here are a few facts about Jesse James. 1. Jesse James used a variety of aliases throughout his criminal career, including Thomas Howard and William H. Campbell, to avoid detection by law enforcement. 2. While Jesse James is often romanticized as a Robin Hood-like figure, his gang was responsible for the deaths of innocent civilians during their raids and robberies. This included the killing of a bank cashier during the robbery of the Clay County Savings Association in Liberty, Missouri in 1866. 3. Jesse James was wounded numerous times during his lifetime, including a gunshot wound to the chest sustained during the Northfield Bank robbery in 1876. He also suffered from a severe chest injury caused by a Union soldier's saber during the Civil War. 4. Jesse James had a penchant for poetry and was known to recite verses from Shakespeare and other literary works. He often used pseudonyms when submitting his own poetry for publication. 5. Despite his criminal activities, Jesse James maintained close ties with his family throughout his life. His mother, Zerelda James, was a staunch defender of her son and even wrote a book defending his actions after his death. 6. There are numerous theories and legends surrounding Jesse James's death. Some believe that he faked his own death and lived out his days under an assumed identity, while others maintain that he was indeed killed by Robert Ford in 1882. The debate continues among historians and enthusiasts to this day. Thank you for joining us on this day. We always appreciate a like or share to help the channel grow. And if you would like to see more stories that cover a wide range of topics, such as pop culture, movies, sport, biographies, births, deaths, or even tragic events, then please feel free to subscribe for more of the same as we upload new content every day. We're always interested to know what your favorite kind of topic is, so if you would like more shocking, funny, or biographic material, please let us know in the comments, and we'll even give you a mention in the video we make for your entertainment. Once again, thanks for watching What Happened on This Day, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.